Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, December 27th, and it is the day after Christmas. So U.S. markets have resumed. I hope everybody had a safe holiday weekend. We have another holiday weekend coming up with New Year. So hope everybody stays safe and sound throughout the week. I know some crazy weather throughout the U.S., so I hope everybody's warm and was able to at least check up on the charts every now and then. Not much happened throughout the Christmas holiday until this morning, as we more or less expected, but there was some volatility and some signals for potentially the end of the week in front of us. So let's go ahead and dive in. Bitcoin sentiment, oddly enough, poked into bullish territory shortly after Christmas, and we did see a bit of a price spike, if you want to call it that. But price did lift up above the resistance level of 16.9, but was held back and basically ended up with a swing failure pattern. I should show you the Bitcoin chart while I'm talking about it. As we can see, 16.9, two tweezer wicks, and then closed underneath the previous, so what happened was it pumped into the daily close, which excited some people because you had a daily close above 16.9, which we've outlined as resistance for more than a week. And then as soon as it closed, it spiked a little higher and then immediately careened back down to 16.8 and then closed underneath the 16.9 level and eventually careened down this morning. So very, very volatile and tricky trading. And this is why we always wait for confirmation candles above the range, as we expected. As I said, Friday, we could definitely see some ping pong patterns here. That's exactly what we got. So we know that supports is at 16,550. We know resistance is at 16.9. Price is, in the grand scheme of things, from a daily perspective, technically making higher lows. Of course, we do have a lower low here, so that's not positive for that sign, but we do really need to make it underneath 16,550 for this to be confirmed as a break in trend. And then we're talking, about the 16.3 level again. So sentiment is, push bullish back to the neutral level. We'll have to see how this plays out. But if it continues to push bearish, obviously not going to look good with tweet volume and trading volume down. Looking at DXY, which has kind of been our, we've been trying to use it as a signal. And unfortunately, this system that I've been tracking is more or less breaking. We did have the bounce off the RSI level. We did break the trend, but now we're, lowering back into, the trend and back towards supports. And of course, RSI is pretty much the same level as when it tapped that line. So it could definitely head lower and still fit with this RSI trend. But typically, if we don't see a strong reaction, this system is breaking. And we probably have another day or two to decide whether or not this is actually going to be a broken system. Of course, it could just, flatline here and then make a decision up or down. Holding above 103.4 is obviously positive, and that's what we want to see. But without a break above 105.3, we're very much in a holding pattern, which definitely drives some confusion for equities and Bitcoin. So looking at equities, which has been, more or less our weather vane, more ping-ponging action as we saw, tagged the, futures open yesterday. We tagged 38.75, careened back lower after the open today, and now we're sitting, underneath the previous daily close at 38.40 and above this POC at 38.30. So very much in, a tight area where I would expect some volatility to occur. Does look like the volatility is going to be to the downside, but of course we have to break the 38.30 level first. So if you hold 38.30, you're talking about 38.75 again. If you lose 38.30, you're talking about 3800, potentially back down to where we tapped twice at 37.60. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that. And of course, any signals that we have this week aren't really much. We had, we had some data today. We have home sales tomorrow. We have jobless claims, which we get every week. So nothing really market impactful. Chicago PMI may bring some volatility. That'll be the last trading day of the year. So I would definitely expect some volatility on the last trading day of the year, especially if PMI is bad. And it's expected to be higher than it was previously, which is certainly not positive. So definitely something to look out for as we head into the week. And of course, if jobless claims are completely amiss, we could see more volatility. Of course, lower volatility, I would expect, as the day or as the week ends, I should say. So Bitcoin, you would expect some sort of recovery here just because RSI is oversold. We're just above, where we traded at on, last Thursday. Starting to form a little reversal pattern here, but does not mean anything is over. So for this to recover back into the channel, we have to recover 16.7. If you can't recover 16.7 or it's rejected off of 16.7, then you're headed back to 16,550 for potentially a bounce. So that'll be what bulls are looking for there. And of course, we know our levels for the S&P 500 as it pertains to Ethereum. Also, ping-ponging action all throughout the weekend, as more or less expected. Definitely, it was a potential trade if you caught the low end to the high end. That's a 2% range. So, basing off of what we saw, on Sunday, this is a good area for a catch to potentially head back towards the previous daily close and top of the range, right around 1227, 1230. And then you have to get above 1230 to head higher. And of course, you have to get under 1200 to head lower, with 1180, 1190 really being that strong support level here. So I would expect, some bounce if we end up tagging this level again, especially if equities end up behaving and don't just fall flat on their face. If equities fall flat on their face, then Bitcoin and Ethereum are likely doing the same. But if equities can hold the 3830 level, then Bitcoin and Ethereum have a pretty good chance. So without any real major news, we have to think about this as the actual end of the trading year. It's end of the quarter, end of the year. Everyone's rebalancing, tax loss harvesting. Cantor and Clark made a really good post on Twitter the other day. Nobody has made or break their trading career in the last week of trading. So it's something to think about. Nobody's probably going to be a hero or go for it all, meaning the volatility should not be too extreme and should be technically sound, meaning respecting the support and resistance levels that we have drawn and the systems that we've been following, such as oversold, overbought RSI, obviously support and resistance levels, moving averages, VWAP, it should all maintain, technical soundness in terms of trading patterns and trading systems. So I would expect, 16,550 to hold for Bitcoin, at least heading into tomorrow. And I would expect 1,200 to hold for Ethereum, at least heading into tomorrow, based on what we've seen, without any other major news and without the S&P going crazy. And of course, with the DXY in a holding pattern. DXY goes crazy north or south. We know what's happening with risk, but absent that, risk should maintain, respect for technical trading. And I think that's what we're going to see at least over the next few days. So prediction for heading into tomorrow for Bitcoin and ETH, maybe we tag the low end of this range, but we'll probably be trading near the same price as we are tomorrow around the same time for both Bitcoin and Ethereum if I was a betting man. But of course, if these support levels are broken, if I'm wrong, if 1,200 is lost, if 16,555 is lost, we know that we have support at 16.3 for Bitcoin, and we know we have support for at 1166, 1160 for ETH. So good luck, happy trading. Hope everybody's enjoying the holidays. Apologies, not much volatility or too much information to go off of, but that's typically how trading is towards the end of the year. Don't overextend yourself, play it safe, protect your money going into 2023. I would be shocked if we didn't see some volatility opening up the year once everybody gets back to the desk and is over with their holiday. So good luck, happy trading. See everybody tomorrow.